Pogley Wood. Ancient, dark, mysterious Pogley Wood, full of secrets, ghosts, shadows. Look up, and the hoary branches block out the night sky. Look down.
Hello? Is someone there? Pippa, is that you? Pippa? Pippa, some bounder bopped me on the back of the bonds from behind while we were playing hide the sausage. Have you seen... Pippa, that is you, isn't it? Oh, cripes! What are you doing here?
The Pogley Wood Murders, Chapter 1, The Body in the Tunnel, by Nigel Fairs.
Did you know that new place has had to close already?
What new place, dear?
Art Gallery, Morlington Hill.
Oh, really?
Buried under 3 tons of pig swill.
How dreadful.
Local farmer Mr. Eric Plush was blamed for the explosion of manure and swill that swept through the village in the early hours of Monday morning after what local experts called an unprecedented build-up of gaseous liquids on his farmland.
Oh, dear.
Mrs. Deirdre Digger, the 73-year-old widow of Daniel Digger, the world-renowned artist after whom the gallery was named, was said to be distraught at the state of the gallery and her late husband's work, much of which was destroyed in the accident.
Oh, dear, dear.
His most famous painting, A Goat at Sunrise, was completely ruined by the force of the torrent of dung. Only the frame remains.
Oh, that really is not good enough.
I know! Wretched man should be whipped within an inch of his life!
Not that. This. Mrs. Eva Hubbock has sent her sincere apologies to the women of the Morlington Hill Townswomen's Guild, a national organisation she helped to set up 2 years ago after failing to turn up to their meeting on Wednesday last.
Well, of course. It's only right that she should apologise.
But it's the excuse, Lionel. Mrs. Hubbock told local organiser Mrs. Elizabeth Plink that she'd written down the wrong day. Really? I mean, what is the world coming to? We're not living in the Dark Ages. This is 1937. Doesn't her husband have a secretary?
Pass the marmalade, would you, dear?
Pass it yourself.
Enter!
Yes, Tiddles, what is it?
Don't just stand there wobbling, woman. Tell us what's what, or I shall whip you halfway into next week.
Good morning, Truro Police Station. Detective Constable Knibblett speaking. Can I help you? As a matter of fact, it's Knibblett. Yeah, that's right. Neville. Nellie's son. I am a policeman. I'm a detective constable. Yeah, well, that were years ago, Mrs. Tiddles. And
Good morning.
Just one moment, sir. No, Mrs. Tiddles, it weren't a pig, it were a goat. And like I said... Look, were you ringing on police business? Because...
I was hoping I might...
Another one? Are you sure? Where? When? Who?
Constable Knibblett. Has the new chap arrived yet?
What time?
I think that'll be me.
If you don't mind, sir, I'm afraid you'll have to talk to Constable Knibblett here.
And nobody's touched the body?
The body?
It's just that I think that...
I don't deal with the general public, sir. Well, not down here at the station in any case. Did you say there's a body?
Just a minute, Mrs. Tiddles. Yes, sir.
Another one? Extraordinary.
Tell their lord and ladyship that nobody is to go down there until we've arrived.
Do you know, sir, barely a week goes by in these parts without an horrific death in mysterious circumstances.
We'll be there directly.
Still, keeps one in work, I suppose.
No, I meant right away. Thank you, Miss Tiddles.
The body, eh, Constable?
Yes, sir. That were Mrs. Tiddles. She were telephoning from Pogley Manor on the edge of Pogley Wood. They discovered him half an hour ago in one of them tunnels that runs from the manor grounds to the coast.
I didn't know there were tunnels.
Well, no, sir. You wouldn't, not being a local.
Yes, Knibblett, you're right. I wouldn't.
It's Knibblett, sir.
You really shouldn't. It'll drop off. Well, I suppose I should jolly on down there and take a gander. Get Miss Swallocks on the blower, would you? And try to find out what's keeping that new chap from London. Sgt Dingle, I think his name was. He was supposed to be arriving this morning.
Morlington 243, please.
As a matter of fact, it's Dingle. Detective Sergeant Richard Dingle.
How in God's name would you know that?
Because he's me. I'm me. I'm him. I'm Sergeant Dingle.
Good God.
Hello? Betty? Is that you?
Well, I suppose you'll have to do for the moment.
That's handy. I thought I were going to have to ask Sheila Swift to ask Bertie to run up Lesbie Avenue and fetch you. It's Neville. Inspector Sixpence wants you down at Pogley Manor directly.
Do you drive, Dongle?
No, he means right away.
I'm afraid I don't, sir.
Darn it. I'll have to pump up the old Austinate myself.
Miss Swallocks is on her way, sir.
Good man. Come along, Sergeant Spitspot. Leave your luggage. The constable will sort that out for you, won't you, Knibblett?
It's Knibblett.
So, is this your first time in Cornwall, Sergeant?
As a matter of fact, it isn't, sir, no. My old mum lives down here. Well, in Dorset, in any case. Durdle Door. She's in at home. So when this job came up...
You thought you'd take the opportunity to live a bit closer to the old girl, eh?
Yes, sir, that's pretty much the picture.
Good man, Dongle.
It's Dingle, as a matter of fact.
Is it? Yeah. Yes. Well, you have to treasure 'em while you can. I wish I'd paid more attention to my folks before they shuffled off.
Shuffled off?
This mortal coil. Copped it. Mysterious circumstances. At sea. Never found the bodies.
Oh dear, I'm sorry.
Are you? Why? Was it your fault? Did you done it?
Well...
Don't mind me, Sergeant. I'm the sane one. You wait until we meet the local yokels. Rum lot. Pogley Wood, Morlington Hill, belching on sea. You'll never have seen the like. And as for this lot, the Pogleys, mad as ducks. Right, here we are. That's Pogley Wood on the left there. Stretches all the way across to the coast from here. And that Gothic pile over to the right is Pogley Manor.
Heavens.
Heavens indeed. The Pogleys are one of the 3 ruling families in these parts.
Ruling family.
Oh, yes. Got to mind your P's and Q's with this lot. The local yokels treat them like royalty. There are the Pollocks. They live up at Boothby Hall, to the side of the wood. The Pippins, across on Pippin Island, and the Pogleys. The Viscount Pogley, he was a bit of a rum one in his time, by all accounts. Fond of the old slithery, you know. His wife... the Viscountess Pogley, and the 2 children, the Honourable Pippin Pogley and the Honourable Pippa Pogley, recently engaged to Mr. Anthem, Christopher, I think.
Chris Anthem.
What are you doing?
Writing it down, sir. Just in case it's relevant to our investigation.
I say, you're a bit of an eager beaver. Good man, Dangle.
It's...
Ah, Mrs. Tiddles, isn't it? I wonder if we could have a word with the master of the manor. Smugglers' tunnels, apparently. I had no idea they were here, did you? Oh, well, no, of course you didn't. You've only just arrived. Ah, Swallocks, there you are. This is Betty, my pathological assistant. She'll have been giving the stiff a good going over, won't you, Betty?
Aye, that I have, sir.
This is Detective Sergeant Dingle from London.
As a matter of fact, it's Dingle.
Morning.
So what do we reckon, Betty?
Bloodily bludgeoned over the bonds by a blunt instrument, sir.
Nasty. Any idea who it is? Or was, rather?
I know exactly who it is, sir. I recognised him as soon as I saw him. It's Pepster. The Honourable Pippin Pogley.
Good heavens.
He's been dead for some time. At least a week, I'd say.
Oh, yes. What makes you think that, Sergeant?
The maggots in those head wounds, sir.
Ah, yes, well spotted. Why do you suppose he was chained up like that?
Presumably, because whoever it were who done it didn't want him going nowhere, sir.
Ah, Betty, always the mistress of the double negative. So, if our murderer didn't want him going nowhere, what does that tell us about him? I'll tell you what it tells us. Our murderer is something of a psychopath. And it's highly likely that he's roaming around the village at this very moment.
Pippin? Oh, no. Chucksy, did you hear that?
I did, Papsy. That's perfectly horrid.
It certainly is perfectly horrid, sir. Now then, Miss Pogley, I mean the Honourable Miss Pogley. When did you last see your brother?
I'm not sure. I suppose it must have been at least a fortnight ago. We've been up in town, haven't we, Chucksy?
Yes, we have. I took Popsy to meet my parents in Hammersmith on the 2nd, so that would have been 16 days ago.
And you've been there ever since?
Well, yes. They've been perfect poppets, spoiling at something rotten. It's such a hoot seeing how the middle classes carry on. Do you know, Chucksy's mother doesn't even have a cook? She knows how to boil a hot water bottle and everything. She taught me all sorts of super stuff about her sweet little kitchen, but I forgot it almost immediately. Didn't I, Chucksy?
Oh, Popsy, you are a card. My ma and pa adore her, Inspector.
I'm not surprised, particularly if they've worked out how much she's worth.
Oh, I say, that's not a very sporting thing to say.
And presumably she'll be worth just a little bit more now that her brother's copped it.
Good point, Sergeant. What have you got to say to that, sir?
I don't think I've got anything at all to say to it.
I think you're both being perfectly beastly.
Can you think of anyone who might want to kill your brother, Miss Pogley?
No, I can't. He was one of the sweetest, kindest people you could imagine. You ask anyone. Well, not anyone. I don't imagine any of the villagers had ever met him.
Of course they hadn't.
But you ask Lady Pollock or Viscount Pippin or anyone in the Hunting Association, they all adored him.
Well, somebody didn't. Somebody chained him up like a dog and bloodily bludgeoned him over the bonce with a blunt instrument.
Yes, thank you, Sergeant.
Chucksy, how horrid they're being.
I really do think that'll be enough for the moment, Inspector.
If you don't mind, sir.
Frankly, yes, I do mind. And I'd thank you to keep your sergeant on a leash in future.
Sorry, sir, I didn't mean to...
Good afternoon.
Well done, Sergeant.
Sorry, sir.
No, I mean it. Well done. Did you see Mr. Anthrum's reaction to you mentioning the chains? It wasn't the expression one might expect. I think the gentleman has something nasty lurking inside his wardrobe, as they say. I think it might be an idea for us to open the door and have a little root around, don't you?
You were right, sir.
Was I really? What about this time?
Mr. Anthem. As soon as we got the warrant, Constable Knibblett and I had a butcher's at his rooms and found this.
Aha. What you might call a missing link, eh, Dingle?
Eh?
Never mind. Does it match the chains we found on the stiff?
Yes, sir. Must have been removed at some point.
Here! Watch where you're going! Ain't you got eyes in your head, then?
I'm terribly sorry. My sergeant and I didn't have our eyes on the road, I'll admit.
Sergeant?
Yes. Yes, I'm Detective Inspector Sixpence, Truro Police, and this is my Detective Sergeant.
Dingle. Richard Dingle.
Aye, I seen you afore. You're him what's moved into Grunsworth Folly down by the castle. Your housekeeper were after some fresh eggs from my cousin down on Plesh Farm. Queer woman. My Stanley said how she give him the evil eye.
Oh, that'll be her unfortunate squint. She's perfectly harmless.
You say so.
Who are you, madam?
Back. Mrs. Back. My husband Stanley's a station master at Morlington Alt Station.
Oh, really? And is this your tractor?
Nope. I lended it, didn't I, from my cousin.
Down on Plush Farm?
That's right.
Do you own a flower shop?
No, why?
The flowers. 1/2 a ton of them by the look of it.
No, I'll be taking them up St Mary's for funeral tomorrow.
The Honourable Pippin Pogley's funeral?
Well, nobody else is getting buried tomorrow. Well, not Morlington Hill, at least.
Yes, that's rather puzzling, I must say.
What?
Well, why are the Pogleys burying their only son in Morlington Hill rather than Pogley Wood? I would have thought
Nobody buries nobody down Pogley Wood no more. Not since the Rising.
The Rising.
Superstitious nonsense. Another one of those ridiculous local legends.
You can mock me all you like, Inspector. But there's folks here whose grandparents swore on their mothers' souls that back in the day, on the morning after Midwinter's Eve, every one of them graves were empty. And they say every one of them poor lost souls still wander the wood in the dead of night. But I wouldn't go down Pogley Wood night time. Not if you paid me.
Yeah, well, after what we saw in that tunnel, I'm not sure I would either.
Then yous. I'd better get this lot up St Mary's and start doing it up. Gotta get right for their lord and ladyship.
You do that, Mrs. Back. You're right, Sergeant. Look as white as a sheet.
Do you think all that stuff about the Walking Dead...
Oh, poppycock, Dongle. Poppycock. Come along, let's pop into the local station. Maybe Betty can rustle up us a nice cup of rosy, eh?
Well, this is a rum old business, don't you think, Betty? Lord and Lady Pogley paying us to go on a railway train and inviting us up to the manor house and that.
I know. Hey, do you think we'll be allowed to go in the front entrance and that?
Doubt it. The other toffs, maybe. You know, Lady Pollock and that. They'll most probably shunt us down the servants' back passage, and we'll have to eat with Mrs. Tiddles and her lot in the kitchen.
Here, what do you think of that new sergeant?
Dingle? It's all right, I suppose. Bit keen to make a good impression on Silver Spoon.
Oh?
Silver Spoon? That's what the lads call Inspector Sixpence, on account of him being born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
Oh, I see. I reckon he puts all that on, you know, all the airs and graces. Teddy Twiglet down the placket says that when he's had a couple of shants of wallop, he starts losing the accent and sounds as...
Shh! Here they are, Laurel and Hardy.
I didn't think they was coming. I thought they was going to that other posh dude down the gallery.
Ah, Swallocks, Knibblett.
It's Knibblett, sir.
Of course it is. Good man. Splendid service, what?
Oh, was you there, sir?
Yes, Sergeant and I popped ourselves in at the back, didn't we, Dongle?
Yes, sir, and it's...
Any sign of the Viscount and Viscountess?
No, I reckon as though they'd probably go up Pogley Manor in their Rolls Royce.
Oh, really? The railway train not good enough for them, eh?
I wouldn't be so sure, Miss Swallocks. Look.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming along this afternoon. Lady Pogley and I were very touched to see so many of you at St Mary's. Excuse me. Especially those of you who appear to have joined us directly after working on your farms, without a moment to even pop home and dress for the occasion.
Lord Pogley?
What is it, man? Can't you see I'm making... Oh, good Lord.
Are you all right, my dear?
Perfectly.
You don't look all right.
No. Look how he's gawping at the station master.
Do you suppose he's giving him the bill for us tickets?
Lionel, what is it? You're looking positively queer. Porter, would you fetch my husband a glass of something stiff?
Yes, me lady.
It really is all right. I'm sure he... I'm sure she...
What do you mean?
No, nothing at all, my dear. Ladies, gentlemen, farm workers, would you excuse me, please? I'm afraid I have to attend to a private matter on the other platform.
Oh dear. Please excuse my husband. I think he must be overcome with grief. If you'll be kind enough to wait in the charming little waiting room, I'll see if I can jolly along the train staff so we can whip you all down the line to the manor for the wake. Thank you, everyone.
Jolly along the train staff.
My fur. I reckon she's getting herself another drink. Did you see her knocking it back in the church? She had a bottle hidden in her muff.
You noticed that as well, did you, Miss Swallocks? Good work. Good Lord, what was that?
Sounded like a gunshot, sir.
Certainly did. Stay here, Knibblett. Keep everyone here. Dongle, Swallocks, with me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, calm down. There's no need to worry. We've got everything under control. Stand back. Stand back.
Yes?
What?
Well, that's me.
Who's you?
Stanley Back. I works here. Look, I got a uniform and everything.
Sorry, sir, I don't use the railway train much. It's an honour to meet you.
Eh?
An honour.
No, that's my missus.
Who is?
On her back. Used to be on her side. Then I married her, and now she's on her back.
I see.
I say, did you hear that terrible noise a moment ago at precisely 20 minutes to 7 o'clock? I'm no expert, but it sounded like someone being fatally shot on platform 2.
I'm terribly sorry to interrupt your evening, ladies and gentlemen, But did you hear that terrible noise a few moments ago?
At precisely 20 minutes to 7 o'clock.
Precisely. There appears to have been an horrific murder in mysterious circumstances. The Viscount Pogley of Pogley Wood has been fatally shot on platform 2. He's stone cold dead.
How terribly inconvenient. If he'd died only an hour and a half earlier, we could have buried them together. Now we shall have to sit through that dreary service all over again. Oh, dear. Well, we can't leave them there decaying, can we? Porter, could you telephone for the undertaker?
Oh, no, ma'am. We bain't on the newfangled telephonic machine apparatus here, and the newfangled telephonic communication box down on the gallery bain't working on account of the dung.
Dung?
Yes, me lady. There were a flood a couple of days ago.
Oh, yes. How horrid. Oh, well, I suppose I shall just have to get my butler to telephone when we get back to the manor.
Not so fast, madam.
I beg your pardon? Who are you when you're at home?
Both at home and indeed here, the name's Sixpence. Detective Inspector Arthur Sixpence, Truro Police, plain clothes. Now then, I wonder if we might have a little private space to ask a few of you some questions.
It's all right for you, Inspector. It's what I calls my hole.
Your hole?
My office.
More like a cupboard.
Thank you, Sergeant. It'll do, Mr. Back, wasn't it?
Aye,
The station master.
aye.
I wonder if you'd be kind enough to show the Viscountess Pogley in. I think I might as well talk to her first.
Right you are.
Dongle, be a good man and rustle us up a cuppa, would you? I'm parched.
I beg
There's
you.
a tea room on platform 2. And while you're doing it, you might ask the ladies and gentlemen out there a few pertinent questions.
Oh, I see. Well, yes, sir, of course.
Good man. And when you've done that, see if Constable Kniblett's managed to find the Honourable Pippa and her husband yet. He has a tendency to get a little distracted.
Sir?
I say! Yoo-hoo! The bounders didn't stop.
He was probably in a hurry.
Darling, don't be obtuse. Who's going to be in a hurry to go anywhere at 13 minutes to 7 o'clock in the evening? What is it, Papsy? Why are you looking so queer all of a sudden?
It's those cows. They don't look terribly friendly.
Don't be silly, dear. There's nothing frightening about a cow. You should know. You've lived with one for 22 years.
Are you talking about my mother? Goodness! What in heaven's name was that?
Whatever it was, it's disturbed those cows. Good God! They're charging! Run, Papsy! Run for your life!
Next time on the Pogley Wood Murders.
How did Mr. Wilde put it? To lose one relation may be regarded as misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness.
I have the most dreadful news!
What dreadful news might that be, sir?
Put the gun down now! You have been listening to Chapter 1 of the Pogley Wood Murders, with Abby Harris as Pippa Pogley and Honor Back, Max Day as Sgt Dingle, Lord Pogley and Pippin Pogley, Rebecca Crinion as Lady Pogley and Betty Swallocks, Ratley Mason as Constable Knibblett and Chrysanthemum, Nigel Fairs as Inspector Sixpence, and Anthony Townsend as Stanley Back. The Pogley Wood Murders were written and edited by Nigel Fairs, who also composed the music.
His most famous painting, A Goat at Sunrise, was completely ruined by the force of the torrent of dung. Only the flame, even the frame.
Chucksy, did you hear that?
I did, Pumpsy. That's perfectly horrid.
Pupsy.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
it's all right.
Pupsy, not Pumpsy.
Yeah. Come along, Sergeant. Spit spot. Leave your luggage. The constable will sort that out for you.
Sorry. Switch onto airplane mode because my phone's all greasy.
Oh, no.
It's all right for you, Inspector.
It's because I've got coconut oil on my face.
Oh, for sake. Dongle, be a good man and rustle up a... Dongle, be a good man and rustle us.
What's it you want, sir? A cup of tea?
Yes.
Wait a second.
Coconut oil works wonders.
Yes, milady. No, that's Parker. Hang on a minute. Cornish.
Rebecca Crinion as Lady Pogley and Betty Swallocks. Ratley Mason as Constable. That's what he calls my owl.